product makes any cutting board look laser engraved, and the best part is no lasers are needed. Welcome to the 12 Days of Craftmas. I'm Ashley and this is Chip Builds, and I'm going to show you how you can quickly engrave a cutting board using Scorch Paint. Honestly, this stuff is pretty awesome, so let's jump into the tutorial. So we are here in Cricut Design Space, and I've already sized my artwork for my little cutting board that I got from the Dollar Tree. And then you want to make sure both designs are attached so none of the pieces move. And then we can click make, and then they're going to show us how it's going to look on our cutting mat. And I like to try to move them away from the edges just so I'm not losing anything, and there's a little bit of a border for when we're doing the Scorch Paint. So once I like the placement, I can hit continue, and then I'm going to select premium vinyl because I'm using the HTV raw vinyl here, and the default settings just work out for me. So then we can load in our mat, and then we can hit go. I have my stencil here. I've used HTV raw vinyl because it has a plastic backing, so for some of these smaller details, they didn't move around very much. So with this, we want to basically weed the opposite of what you would normally weed. Like normally you would weed out the center of the circle, but for this one, we're weeding out the actual letter. And so we're just going to do that for this whole design. This is going to take forever. I am so mad at myself for making such a complex design. Alright, I'm gonna take a break and come back to this because my hand is cramping up. Alright, I've decided I don't need all of these little itty bitty baby details, so I just weeded out the majority of the design. And then I'm gonna take my favorite transfer tape of all time. I think this is Style Tech. I'm just gonna pull out enough to cover this well. I'm gonna take my squeegee and just really burnish it down because we want no air bubbles or nothing. All right, now I can peel back the backing sheet, and then this, oops, we're gonna pull down and at an angle slowly to make sure we're not losing any pieces. So I didn't burnish it down well enough, so I'm going to do it again to really make sure because I want this to be successful. All right, let's try that again. So same thing, down and at an angle, nice and slow. So some of those pieces I didn't weed out are kind of coming back to bite me right now. So I'm just trying to go nice and slow here. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna trim off this part of the carrier sheet just to make my life easier. So you wanna be really careful while this sticky part is exposed because you don't want it to fold over on itself. All right, took a very long time. I need to be very careful now with the placement of this. I want to try and get it as centered as possible. So I'm gonna just gently push in the middle. All right, and then I'm gonna use the squeegee, push out all the air bubbles. And again, for this transfer tape, we're gonna pull it down and at an angle. Now I'm gonna put a piece of tape on the edges here because I don't want the torch paste hitting the part of the wood that it's not supposed to burn. All right, and for this we are using this Scorch Paint. I will have everything linked down below. Oh, it's very gel-like. All right, so I'm just gonna dab some on, and actually I'm just gonna take this little squeegee and scoop some out. So the instructions definitely say less is more, so we will blot away the excess. I just want to make sure I get full coverage. I think I used way too much. All right, this is thoroughly coated. I'm gonna make sure I put the lid back on so I don't lose any. And then I am just gonna start dabbing because that is what the instructions say to do, to dab the excess. Like there's so much around his face. Let me get another paper towel. Again, let's just dab it. And then now we can remove our template here. All right, I've set my heat gun to high, and then we can get this done. So before I go any further, I think I'm gonna take off my templates, or as much of it as I can. I probably should have done this first. Again, not weighting this properly has really bit me in the butt. But I really like the paste better than the marker. All the vinyl is off now, so we can finish. Now this engraving does look uneven because we've done it on bamboo wood, and that's just what happens. And that honestly looks pretty awesome. It looks very similar to a laser engraved one. So this method is super awesome, and I highly recommend you give it a try if you don't have a laser at home. Honestly, the Scorch Paint did an amazing job, and I highly recommend you pick this up. Their Scorch marker is also really great, but I much prefer this gel over the marker, and you can't argue with these results. Well guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any questions, drop them down below. I'll be sure to answer them. And as always, I'll have everything linked down below for what you need for this, especially the Scorch Paint. But this is honestly just such a cool way to get a really cool engraved look on this cutting board. And if you want this Cookies for Santa design, I'll have that linked in the description as well. But this thing looks so freaking cool. But thanks for watching guys, and I'll catch you on the next one. See ya!